So this is Titanic for the NES, released in 2005, which is 8 years after Titanic for the entertainment, video movie came out. 2005 also being about 10 years after NES stopped making most of its games. Anyway, we'll do a quick playthrough of the game using Rose. The game is very similar with Rose and Jack, but some of the things you can do in the game, like bugs and glitch-wise, are more related to what Rose can do. So I'm going to show off some of that here. So we'll go ahead and get started. So as you can see, it's kind of your basic, platformer. And the premise of the game is pretty much the same as the idea in the movie, which is that Jack and Rose were madly in love with one another on the Titanic, and there was a scene that involved a foggy handprint on the side of a car window, and by the way, this ship is going to sink, so now it's time for us to run away and escape the sinking Titanic, while it shoots fireworks between each level. Oh, I lied earlier. It is actually possible to make that jump. So, the reason that we're playing Rose instead of Jack is that through a very complicated series of inputs, you can see that Rose is quite capable of walking through, well, jumping through walls. It's really complex. I mean, it's really, really focused. All you have to do is hold the direction button towards the wall and press the jump button until you make it through the wall. Just tap it over and over again until you make it. In some places it saves time. Here it doesn't save a lot of time, or really any, but it's just kind of neat to take the bottom path here instead of the top path. So that's kind of nice. Have to carefully make our way past some of these hazards here. Probably wondering why I'm not picking any of the hearts up, and that's even though I've taken damage and I'm so worried about taking damage, but it's because the hearts actually don't do anything. They give you flotation devices. I don't know what the maximum limit is, but they don't do a thing to keep you alive or help you out in any way. So this part, I just climb over that section there. You can climb all the way up to the top and make your way down, but I like to skip past the first coal cart because then I can just damage boost through the rest of this level and walk perfectly straight. I think it's cute that when Rose starts running, she holds up her dress, so that's why her arms are tucked back like that. It's an interesting little detail. So this is probably the worst level in the game. This is the Ascent, I guess. I don't know. It's sort of an auto-scroller in the fact that as you jump up, the bottom rises quickly to follow you. And it'll rise up on its own as well. I guess the merciful thing is that it rises up at the same rate that you do, because otherwise waiting for the water to move up at the rate it does is so slow. But yeah, the platforming in this game is really terrible. Like, it's kind of like Prince of Persia trying to grab onto things, only with much worse controls. And it's very difficult to actually land jumps where you want them to. A lot of the time you'll jump the wrong direction, or you won't grab onto whatever platform you're looking for. But yeah, that's the worst level there. This is one of the most tedious levels in the game. However, if you're careful, with Jack, he has to jump over every single one of those obstacles or avoid them. With Rose, we can go up here, clip through the wall, fall down to the main floor, and we'll wind up off camera. And now none of the items, none of the enemies or items are at all useful. The pattern repeats over and over and over again. It's like a piece of broken glass, and then a carpet, and then another piece of broken glass, and then another carpet, and then a staircase, and then another carpet, and then a piece of broken glass, and then another carpet, and then another piece of broken glass. It just goes on and on and on and on and on and on. It's just a level exercise in tedium. It is not fun. And so I have no intention of actually playing it the normal way. We'll just have Rose skip over it like this. I think right about here. Yep. We find the lock, which means, oh no, we need to go find the key. So now I'll just go back to the main area, find the stairs leading down to the lower decks. I'm sorry, I'm sure these cutscenes are delightful, but unfortunately I don't speak Chinese, so I can't really share that and like tell you what's going on. I'm sure it's plot stuff, but I just don't know. Take an axe to the face, go down the down the ladder. There we go. So that'll lead us to the swimming level. So this level introduces swimming. It's kind of like moving around like Frog Suit Mario. You just push in the direction you want to swim, and you will swim in that direction. And as usual, you just dodge pieces of falling ship or sparks or other, pieces of debris and swim through the level. One of the meanest things they did in this level, though, is design it such that if you go to the right, the only thing waiting for you is a blue pendant, which gives you an extra life, but is otherwise useless. So I'm going to take a little damage there to get a little damage boost on the way back. Then a little death warp there. Real short distance. By the way, I do have to swim under those doors. They will block me, the ones that are kind of half-cocked to the side there. For the most part, swimming underwater is the safest thing you can do. We'll just take a clock to the head, and that ends that level. So, what's the best thing to do in a game like this? You know, Metroidvania, where you have to go find a key item to make progress to an area that you once saw that you couldn't make progress through. This is obviously Metroidvania, because we're having backtracking. Yes, backtracking. Where we literally go through the last level we were in reverse. It's lovely. However, there's a twist. This game also features front tracking, which is like the opposite of backtracking. Or backtracking in the other direction. We actually start one whole staircase further to the left than where we did the first time we did this level. And once again, it's the same level. So that's where we started the first time, that ladder downwards. So now we're actually caught up to the first staircase that you can clip through. So we use the same strategy for this level. Just clip through the wall, fall through the floor, and walk. Hardest part about this is because it runs on over and over and over again is remembering how many staircases you have to walk past. I believe there's one more. There might be two more. Nope, we got it. Alright. So all those other staircases we walk past are just dead ends. They usually have 2 hearts. That's it. So once again, Rose proves very useful at clipping through icebergs here. It's pretty cool. Nice. We might actually have a deathless run here. But don't jinx it, Ritz. Or I should say an unintentional deathless run. So, I don't know if it's actually faster or not to make that double clip or just to climb through the ropes normally. Oh! Just to climb through the ropes normally, but I like to do the clip because it's fun. Yeah, unfortunately, some of these platforms with that kind of pseudo 3D look are a bit difficult to make properly. Come on. Rose, please. Alright, lone violin player. Alright, and that brings us to our final level here. It's time for us to swim away or row away from this place. And these delightful sea creatures here, like that's a shark, I think. There's a, an Arctic sea turtle, Arctic jellyfish, giant jellyfish, I guess. So once again, we get our lovely jank swimming controls here, with an added bonus of having the option to climb out of the water on various platforms, although they're at such a spacing that trying to jump over them is almost impossible. So it's usually fastest just to swim than it is to try and climb up. So the amount of time it takes to climb all the way up one of those is probably slower than whatever time you would gain jumping them. So it takes forever to figure out how to climb that casually, but all you have to do is swim up against it, go neutral, oh no, and press A. Watch out here, the pokey boy. Alright, so we'll go over here. This is a little bit slower, but it's okay. Grab our paddle, because after all, we all know how the movie ends. Rose and Jack, they live happily ever after. They climb on their door that's shaped like a boat, and they row away. Then they get each other in the end. So, yep, that's Titanic. So, hope you guys enjoyed.